Welcome to our channel Money Minded Online, the podcast where we explore the best strategies, tools, and stories for making money online. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned hustler, or just curious about how to thrive in the digital economy, you're in the right place. Each week, we bring you actionable insights, inspiring interviews, and proven tactics to help you build wealth online. So sit back, take notes, and get ready to transform your future. Let's dive in.
All right, so you're thinking about diving into making money with Facebook Reels.
Yeah.
Want to know if it's really possible? We're about to find out. We're going to unpack this podcast script all about it. Did you know some people are making thousands a month just from Reels?
Yeah, it's pretty wild how this whole landscape of online income just keeps changing.
It really does. So, anyone just starting out, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly are Facebook Reels and why all the hype?
Reels are like Facebook's version of, TikTok and Instagram Reels. Basically, they're short, eye-catching videos, and Facebook is really pushing them hard, which means huge potential for creators to reach a lot of people.
So it's not just about your current followers, it's reaching way beyond them. Right?
Exactly. That's where the algorithm comes in. See, Facebook's algorithm really likes Reels, so they're more likely to show up in people's feeds even if they don't follow you. And for monetization, that's huge, because more views means more potential earnings.
Makes sense. The algorithm's like this secret weapon then for getting your content seen. But why short videos? What is it about them that the algorithm's so crazy about?
It's a good question, and I think it's about how people like to consume content these days. Short videos they're quick, they're immediate, they fit into those tiny attention spans. Plus, you can get entertainment or learn something or just, feel inspired all in a quick burst, which works for people with busy lives.
It's like everything's come together to make Reels really take off.
Yeah.
But let's get to the real point here. How do creators actually make money from these things? How are they doing it?
There are a bunch of ways, actually. One of the big ones is in-stream ads. So Facebook sticks these little ads inside videos, eligible videos, and then the creator gets a share of whatever those ads make.
Seems pretty simple. Any catches? Anything you have to do to be able to run those in-stream ads on Reels?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the big things is the video has got to be at least a minute long. So the ads don't totally mess up the experience of watching the reel.
Interesting. So they have to balance making money with keeping people happy then. What about creators who've already got like a lot of followers? Are there other things they could do to make money?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you've got a decent amount of followers, brand partnerships can become a really big deal. I mean, brands are always trying to find creators who can get to their target audience and do it in a way that feels real, so they'll pay to sponsor Reels or do product placements or even work together on whole campaigns.
Sounds good for both sides then, the creators and the brands. But what about those super fans, the people who are really dedicated? Can creators earn money from them directly through Reels?
Yep. Facebook has this thing called stars, which are basically tips so viewers can, show they really appreciate the content. And then there are fan subscriptions too, where fans pay to see exclusive content or get behind the scenes stuff.
So it's like they can create their own little membership right inside Facebook. That's really cool. I've heard rumors about Facebook offering bonuses to creators too. Is there anything to that?
There is. It's true. Meta, that's Facebook's parent company, they run these bonus programs sometimes. It's usually for hitting certain milestones, like reaching a certain number of views or gaining new followers.
Like a game almost. But got to be realistic here, right? None of that matters if you don't have people watching in the first place. How do you even build a following on Reels?
Building a following takes time, for sure, but it's doable. The trick is you have to combine consistency with good content and then make sure people can actually find it. First off, being consistent is huge. The algorithm loves creators who post regularly. You want to aim for, I'd say, at least 3 to 5 Reels per week to keep the algorithm happy and so people don't forget about you.
So you can't just post once in a blue moon. Got it. But it's got to be more than just posting a lot, right? Doesn't the quality of the content itself matter too? What makes a Reel stand out?
You're right. It's got to be good too. Reels need to look good visually, or they need to teach people something or be entertaining. You want people to actually feel something when they watch them. Like you want them to laugh or feel inspired or maybe even a little curious. It's about making them feel something. That's what makes them come back for more.
So like any good story, you're trying to grab people and make them care. But how do you even get noticed in the first place? Any tricks to getting your reels seen?
Oh yeah, definitely. Use trending music, hashtags, that kind of stuff. That way you're tapping into what's already popular. It's like riding the wave.
Smart. You're making your stuff relevant to what people are already looking for. What about captions? Do those matter too?
Captions are super important. Think of it like your quick pitch. You've got a few sentences to hook people. Use catchy phrases, ask questions, and always use relevant keywords so people can find your stuff when they're searching.
So it's all about making it easy for people to find you. We've talked about posting consistently, making good reels, and making them easy to find. But what about actually talking to your audience, engaging with them? How important is that?
Oh, it's crucial. Absolutely crucial. You can't just post and then disappear, you know? You've got to respond to comments, answer questions, show people you actually care about what they're saying. When you build a community around your content, that's how you turn people from just watching into fans, into people who are really invested.
So it's like a back and forth, not just you talking at people.
Exactly. You're building relationships, making a place where people feel welcome and like they belong, and where they're also entertained, of course.
Okay, this is a great start. But I'm sure people are wondering what actually works. Like, what are some examples of reels that are actually making money?
Oh, there are tons of different types of content that do well. Fitness tutorials are always popular, you know. People are always looking for new workouts or quick tips or just some motivation to get moving. So, if fitness is your thing, reels are a great way to share that and make some money through ads or sponsorships or even by creating your own programs.
So you find what people are looking for, and then you add your own spin to it, your own expertise. What about people who are into DIY, making and crafting stuff? Can they make money with reels too?
DIY and crafts are awesome for reels. People love seeing how to make things, whether it's home decor or upcycling or even gifts. There's a big audience for that, and you can make money from ads or by working with companies that sell craft supplies.
I love that. It's all about finding what you're good at and then making it interesting for people to watch. What about food? All the amazing cooks out there, can they turn their passion into a business on reels?
Oh yeah, food is huge on reels for good reason too, right? Everyone loves watching those quick recipes or like clever kitchen hacks or just beautiful food being prepared. The great thing is there are so many ways to do it. Healthy meals, cheap recipes, baking. You can even just share what your family loves to eat.
Speaking of families, there are lots of parents out there who might not want to be on camera. Are there options for people who prefer to stay behind the scenes?
Definitely. Like if you own a business, you can use reels to show off your products or services without having to be the star of the show, you know? You can create reels that tell your brand's story or show how your products work or share what happy customers have to say.
Like mini commercials, but way more engaging. I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense. Okay, so we've got fitness, DIY, cooking, showing off businesses. What about those who just love to share their lives, connect with others? Is there room for personal vlogs on reels?
Of course. People love that authentic stuff, real life. Sharing your everyday moments, the ups and downs, the good stuff, the challenges. When you're genuine, when you're relatable, people are drawn to that.
It's like you're letting people into your world.
Yeah, exactly. And when people feel that connection, they're more likely to stick around, engage with your stuff, and support what you're doing.
These examples are so inspiring. But are people really making good money from reels? Is it actually possible to, earn a real income from this?
Oh, tons of people are. A lot of creators are making thousands of dollars every month, combining ad revenue, brand partnerships, fan subscriptions, all that stuff we've talked about.
Thousands, wow. Any specific examples come to mind?
Sure. There's this one creator who started posting fitness tips and workouts every day. Simple stuff, Now they're making, I think it's around $5,000 a month from ads and deals with fitness brands. Pretty amazing how they turn their passion into a real business.
It shows you anyone can do it, You don't need some fancy background or anything.
Exactly. It's about finding your thing, creating content people want to watch, and then engaging with them. And consistency. You got to be consistent. It takes time to build something on any platform.
Those success stories are awesome, so motivating. But let's take a breath and think about the big takeaways here about making money with reels. What are the most important things people should remember?
Okay, so number 1, consistency is king. The algorithm loves it, so make it a habit to post regularly. Second, focus on making quality stuff that people will want to watch and keep watching. Make it visually appealing, informative, funny, inspiring, something. And lastly, don't forget about talking to your audience. Respond to them, ask them questions, build a community. That's how you turn casual viewers into, super fans.
All great points. But before we move on, I want to leave everyone with a little something to think about. What kind of reel could you create? Something unique, something that people would be interested in, something that could potentially make you money. Think about what you're good at, what you enjoy, what knowledge you have to share.
That's a great question. You got to find your niche, your voice, and what you can bring to the world that's special.
Exactly. So think about that. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into making money with Facebook Reels. Back again, continuing our deep dive into making money with Facebook Reels. Last time we got into the different ways creators are using Reels to earn money, how important it is to grow a following, and heard some pretty inspiring stories too.
Right. It's about realizing how powerful this platform is and then using it in a smart way.
Exactly. So how do we actually do that? Let's get into the specifics, the tactics, the stuff that can really boost earnings and make Reels work for you.
One big thing is understanding that Facebook algorithm, it's like the bouncer at the club,
Yeah.
It decides which reels get seen and which ones just kind of fade away.
Okay, so how do we get past the bouncer? What does the algorithm want?
Well, it's always changing, but one thing's for sure, it loves engagement. Likes, comments, shares, all that. Think of it this way. The more people interact with a reel, the more Facebook thinks, hey, this is good stuff. Let's show it to more people.
So it's not just about views, it's about whether people actually do something after watching.
Yep, exactly. It's about really grabbing their attention and getting them to react. And that's where it gets interesting, thinking about why people engage with certain content. Have you ever noticed how some reels just suck you in and you have to watch the whole thing?
Oh yeah, totally. Sometimes I'll end up watching stuff I didn't even know I was interested in.
See? There's a reason for that. The reels that do really well, they often tap into these basic human instincts and emotions, curiosity, humor, surprise, sometimes even a little controversy. Creators who understand that, who know what makes people tick, they're the ones who often go viral.
It's like there's a whole science to this. It's not just slapping a video together.
Right. And the algorithm also looks at watch time, how long people are actually watching a reel. On average, the longer they watch, the more Facebook thinks, this is good stuff. People are sticking around, so they're more likely to show it to even more people.
Makes sense. They want people to stay on Facebook. So how do you keep people watching? How do you make your reels that captivating?
It's all about storytelling. Even though reels are short, you can still tell a good story. It's like a mini movie. You got to have a hook, something to grab their attention at the beginning. Then you introduce some kind of problem or conflict that keeps them watching. And then finally, you offer a solution or a resolution, something that shows your expertise or your unique way of looking at things. End it with a message that makes people think.
Storytelling in 60 seconds. Sounds tough.
It is, but it's also an opportunity. Start with a strong hook visually, something that pops, maybe a surprising fact or a funny story, anything to get their attention. Then you introduce that conflict, like we said, creates tension. And then a solution or a wrap-up where you show what you know.
So it's like a tiny movie, condensed down. Never thought of it that way, but yeah, it makes sense.
It's all about being intentional with every second you've got. Now, we've talked about engagement and watch time, but another big piece is relevance. The algorithm wants to show people stuff they'll actually be interested in.
Yes. So how do you make sure your reels are reaching the right people?
Hashtags, that's a big one. Choosing the right hashtags means your reels will be seen by people who are already interested in that topic. Spend some time researching hashtags in your niche, see what's trending, and see what kind of content is doing well with those hashtags. It's a little bit like detective work,
So it's not just slap on any hashtag. It's finding the ones that'll actually connect you with the people you want to reach. What about targeting your audience? How does that work on Facebook?
When you make a reel, Facebook lets you choose who sees it. You can pick certain demographics, age, where they live, what they're into, even how they behave online. That way your content gets in front of the people most likely to care about it.
Laser-focused content. I like it. Okay, we've got engagement, watch time, and relevance. Anything else we need to know about keeping that algorithm happy?
One last thing, and it might seem obvious, but the algorithm cares about how good your reels look. I mean, visually. Good lighting, clear audio, smooth transitions between scenes, all that stuff makes a difference.
It's like you're dressing up your content, making it presentable.
Exactly. Investing in a decent mic can make a huge difference to your audio. And a few simple edits can make your reels look way more professional.
It's about creating something that people will actually enjoy watching.
Right. So now that we've talked about how to appeal to the algorithm, let's get into the kinds of content that actually do well on Reels, the stuff people really want to see.
I'm all ears. What's hot right now?
Educational content is huge. People love to learn new things, whether it's a skill or a cool fact or just a helpful tip. So if you know something, teach it.
Share that knowledge.
Yeah.
What else?
Entertainment, of course. People are always looking for a good laugh or a heartwarming story or just something to make their day a little brighter. If you can make them smile, you're doing something right.
So tap into that inner comedian, the storyteller, the entertainer. It sounds like there's a big audience for that. But what about those who are more visual, into art and design? Can they find a place on Reels?
Absolutely. People love to see beautiful things, intricate designs, creative processes. So painters, sculptors, graphic designers, anyone with an artistic talent can totally find an audience on Reels.
It's like an online gallery where people can connect with artists directly.
Exactly. And don't forget music. A catchy tune can really elevate a reel, make it more memorable.
Yeah, music definitely sets the mood, creates a whole vibe.
For sure. Choose music that fits your content, enhances it, and how could I forget food? Food and cooking is another category that just consistently crushes it on Reels.
Food, yeah, that's something everyone can relate to. What kind of food content is popular?
Quick recipes, that's always a hit. And then those clever kitchen hacks, Or just beautiful shots of food. You can focus on healthy stuff. Or budget meals, baking, or even just family favorites. So many options.
It's making me hungry just thinking about it. We've covered a lot of categories here, but it's important to remember these are just starting points. The possibilities are really endless, right?
Absolutely. The most important thing is to create content that you're passionate about, something you believe in, something you think your audience will connect with.
Right. Authenticity matters. People can tell when you're excited about something, and that energy, it's contagious.
It totally is. So find what lights you up, what you're good at, and then get creative. Don't be afraid to try new things.
Love that.
Yeah.
Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of actually making reels that look good, that catch people's attention right away. What are some tips?
The first thing is use good footage. Invest in a decent camera, or even just use your smartphone if it has a good camera. That's fine too.
Right, because no one wants to watch a blurry video.
Exactly. And speaking of looking good, lighting is so important. Natural light is always best, but if you're shooting inside, make sure you've got enough light so everything's clear.
Good lighting makes a world of difference.
It totally does. It can make your videos look way more professional. Then you got to think about composition, how you frame your shots, what you put in the frame. Think about the rule of thirds, leading lines, all those little techniques that photographers use to make images more interesting.
Wow, there's a lot to think about, even for these short videos.
It's all about intention, making every shot count. And don't be afraid to experiment with different angles. Get creative with how you're showing things. And finally, don't underestimate the power of editing. Use a simple editing app to clean up your footage, add some transitions, make the whole thing more polished.
Editing can really transform a reel, take it to the next level.
It's the finishing touch, but keep it snappy. Reels are supposed to be quick, so don't get carried away with fancy transitions or anything like that. You just want to enhance the experience, not make it distracting.
We've talked about what it looks like. Now what about sound? How important is that?
Sound is huge, maybe even more important than the visuals. If you can, get yourself a good mic, whether it's one you plug into your camera or just a phone with a good built-in mic.
Oh, I've definitely watched reels where the picture's great, but the sound's awful and it just ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, totally. You need clear audio to make a reel that people will actually want to watch all the way through. And of course, there's music.
Right. We touched on music earlier, but tell me more about how to pick the right music for your reels.
Music is like the soundtrack to your reel, It sets the mood, creates the atmosphere, makes people feel something. When you're choosing music, think about the feeling you want to create, the style of your reel, and what your audience will like. Try out different stuff, different genres, until you find something that clicks.
Music is powerful. It can really make or break a reel. So yeah, it's worth putting some thought into it. What about sound effects? Do those work in reels too?
Definitely. They can add humor or drama or even just a little extra emphasis. You can use them to transition between scenes or to highlight certain moments. Just like music, have fun with them, experiment a little.
Okay, so we've covered how to make our reels look and sound amazing, but what about the actual content itself? Any tips on making reels that are super engaging, informative, entertaining, all of that?
First of all, keep it short and sweet. Remember, reels are meant to be quick, so get to the point, don't waste time.
Grab their attention right away and hold it till the very end.
Exactly. And think about storytelling. Even in a short amount of time, you can still tell a story that grabs people, that they'll remember. Think about how stories work. Beginning, middle, end. Can you use those elements in your reels?
Mini movies. We're back to mini movies.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to show your personality. People are drawn to creators who are real, who are relatable, who have a unique voice. Let your personality shine through. And always, always end with a call to action. Tell people what you want them to do after they watch your reel, whether it's to like it or comment or share it or follow you or check out your website.
Calls to action are so important. It gives people something to do, a way to engage even more. I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, engagement. It's super important for the algorithm, but it's also a whole topic on its own, right? Engagement is what makes social media work, and reels are no exception. Let's talk about how to really get people interacting, building a community around our content.
Totally. Engagement, it's the heart of it all, you know? It's what turns casual viewers into fans, into people who are part of your community.
So how do we do it? How do we get people talking, liking, sharing, and coming back for more?
One of the biggest things is to just be responsive, reply to comments, answer questions, acknowledge your audience, show them that you're not just talking at them, you're actually listening to.
It's all about building those relationships, right?
And don't be afraid to ask questions yourself. Get your audience involved. Ask for their opinions, their experiences, their advice. That gets conversations going, makes people feel like they're a part of something.
It's a two-way street, not just a one-way broadcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget about contests and giveaways. Everybody loves free stuff. And a contest or a giveaway can create a lot of buzz, get people excited and involved.
Oh yeah, contests are always fun. It's like a win-win. You get more engagement and people get a chance to win something cool.
For sure. And another thing, collaboration. Partner up with other creators, people in your niche to promote each other's content. You can reach a whole new audience that way.
Collaboration is so smart. It's like you're leveraging each other's audiences, helping each other grow.
Exactly. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? And collaborating with other creators can really help you build a stronger community.
Okay, so we've got responding to people, asking questions, contests, collaborations. Any other tricks up your sleeve for boosting engagement?
One more that can be really effective, going live. When you host a live video session, you're connecting with your audience in real time, answering their questions, giving them a peek behind the scenes.
Live video, I love it. It's so immediate, so personal, like you're inviting people into your world right then and there.
Exactly. It's a great way to make your brand feel more human, more relatable, and to build those deeper connections with your followers.
Okay, we've covered a lot about engagement. I'm feeling inspired, ready to put all this into action. But before we move on, I want to talk about one more thing that's super important. Consistency. We mentioned it earlier, but it really deserves its own deep dive.
Yeah.
Consistency is key for success with just about anything, and reels are no exception. So let's talk about it.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Consistency is huge. I can't emphasize that enough. It's essential for success on any platform, and reels are no different.
I'm all ears. Tell me, why is consistency so important in the grand scheme of things?
Well, for one thing, it keeps you in people's minds. When you post regularly, people remember you, they remember your content, they start to expect new stuff from you, and they're more likely to engage with it when they see it.
It's like building a habit for both you and your audience.
Exactly. They get used to seeing your stuff in their feed, and then they start to look forward to it. And consistency is also really important for the algorithm. When you post consistently, it shows the algorithm that you're an active user, that you're serious about creating content and building a community. So it's more likely to reward you by showing your reels to more people.
It's like you're proving your commitment to the platform, and in return, it helps you out.
Exactly. Now, I know it can be tough to stay consistent, especially when life gets busy or you're feeling uninspired. So let's talk about some strategies for making consistency a part of your routine, something you don't even have to think about.
That would be amazing. I know I've struggled with consistency in the past, so I'm definitely ready for some tips.
One of the best things you can do is create a content calendar. Plan out your reels in advance, like, you know how you might plan your meals for the week or your workouts, same idea. It keeps you organized, makes sure you always have something new to post, and it prevents you from scrambling for ideas at the last minute.
A content calendar. I could already see how helpful that would be. It's like a roadmap for your content.
It is. It takes the guesswork out of it. Another strategy is to batch create your reels. Set aside a chunk of time, maybe a few hours each week, or even once a month, and just film a bunch of reels at once. You'll save so much time and energy in the long run, and you'll always have content ready to go.
Batch creating. That's brilliant. It's like building up your content reserves.
Exactly. Work smarter, not harder. Right. And finally, find your rhythm. Experiment with posting at different times, on different days. See what works best for you and your audience.
It's about finding that balance, posting enough to stay consistent, but not so much that you burn yourself out.
Right. So speaking of batch creating, let's dive into that a little bit more. It's one of my favorite ways to stay productive, and I think it can be a game changer for anyone who wants to create consistent content.
I'm all about productivity hacks. Break it down for me. How do you actually do it? What are the steps for batch creating reels?
Okay, so step 1, brainstorm. Take some time to just think about the kinds of reels you want to make. Consider your audience, your niche, your goals, and even any current trends or events that might be inspiring you. Write down as many ideas as you can, even if they seem kind of silly at first.
Like a brainstorming party just for real.
Exactly. Let those ideas flow. Once you've got a good list, it's time to plan your shoot. Choose a location, gather any props or equipment you need, and write yourself a loose script or just an outline for each reel. That'll keep you focused when you're filming and make sure you get everything you need.
Planning is so important. It's like setting yourself up for success.
It really is. Now, the fun part. Filming. Set aside some time when you can really focus, put on some music that gets you in the creative mood, and just have fun.
It's like entering a creative zone where you lose track of time and everything just flows.
That's it. And during filming, don't be afraid to experiment with different angles, different lighting, different transitions, all that stuff. The more you play around, the better you'll get.
Experimenting is how we learn, how we grow.
Exactly. Now, once you've got all your footage, it's time to edit. This is where you polish everything up, trim the clips, add transitions, adjust the colors and lighting, add music or sound effects, all that good stuff.
Editing is where the magic happens. You take all those individual pieces and turn them into a cohesive story.
Yes. And finally, once your reels are all edited and ready to go, schedule them for posting. Choose the best times and days to post based on when your audience is most active and engaged.
Scheduling is like having a personal assistant for your reels. It just takes care of it for you.
Totally. Now, I know all of this can feel a little overwhelming, so here are a few tips for staying motivated and inspired while you're batch creating. First, break it down. Don't try to create all your reels in one sitting. Divide the task into smaller chunks. Make it more manageable.
Small steps. It's less scary that way.
Exactly. And take breaks. Step away from your computer, your phone, all of it, and do something completely different. Go for a walk, listen to some music, hang out with people you love. It'll help you recharge and come back with fresh eyes.
Breaks are so important. That's when our best ideas come, when we give our minds a chance to wander. What about rewards?
Oh yeah, rewards are key. When you hit a milestone, like finishing a batch of reels or reaching a certain number of followers or hitting a certain income goal, celebrate. Acknowledge your accomplishments. It'll help you stay motivated and keep that creative energy going.
Rewards are such a great way to stay positive and focused. What other tips do you have for staying motivated?
Remember, batch creating is just one strategy for staying consistent. Find what works best for you and your own creative process.
It's about finding a system that you can stick with, something that feels good and helps you stay productive. We've been talking a lot about the practical side of creating reels, but before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to acknowledge the emotional side of things. Creating content, putting yourself out there, it can be a roller coaster, There are ups and downs, moments of inspiration and moments of doubt. How do you stay positive, keep that creative energy flowing, even when you're feeling discouraged or burnt out?
That's such an important thing to talk about. Creating content can be emotionally draining, for sure. You're putting yourself out there, sharing your work with the world. It's normal to feel unsure of yourself sometimes, to have moments where you just want to give up.
It's like anything else in life. There are going to be challenges. So how do you deal with those challenges and keep moving forward?
One of the best things you can do is find your people, Connect with other creators, either online or in person, people who get it. Share your experiences, the good and the bad, the wins and the struggles. It's amazing how much support and inspiration you can get from being part of a community.
It's like having your own cheerleading squad, people who understand what you're going through. What else helps you stay positive?
Don't be afraid to take breaks. If you're feeling burned out, step away from creating for a while. Let yourself recharge. Sometimes you just need a little time and space to come back with fresh eyes and a renewed sense of purpose. And don't forget to celebrate your successes. It's easy to get so caught up in the hustle that we forget to acknowledge our... Exactly. It's good to step back every now and then, look at the big picture, celebrate your progress. And remember, comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. Focus on your own journey, your own growth, your own unique contribution to the world.
That's such a good point. It's easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, especially online, where everyone's showing their best selves all the time.
Yeah.
But we all have our own path, our own strengths, our own things to offer.
Totally. Focus on what you do well, be yourself, let your personality shine through in your work.
This has been such a great conversation about the emotional side of creating content. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Speaking of insights, in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to explore the world of analytics, how all that data can help us improve our reels and make more money.
Analytics, yes. Looking forward to that. Data can be really helpful when you know how to use it. I'm excited to share some tips on that.
Stay tuned. We'll be back soon with the final part of our deep dive into making money with Facebook Reels. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Facebook Reels monetization.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has. We've talked about the algorithm, making great content, building that loyal community, and staying consistent. All those important things for Reels.
Yeah, the creative side, the strategy, even the emotional stuff that comes with creating content.
Absolutely. But there's one piece we haven't talked about yet. Analytics.
Analytics, right. The data part of it all.
I'll be honest, analytics always make me a little nervous.
I get it. Numbers, graphs, it can be overwhelming, but honestly, analytics are super powerful for making your reels better and for earning more.
Okay, you've got my attention. What exactly are we talking about here? Why should creators care about analytics?
Basically, analytics are just data, information that tells you how your reels are doing. They show you how many people are watching, how long they're watching for, where they are in the world, even what kind of device they're using, and a whole lot more.
It's like peeking behind the curtain, seeing how people are reacting to your content.
Exactly. And when you understand that data, you can figure out what's working, what's not, and how to do even better. It's like a secret advantage for creators.
Okay, I'm starting to see the value here. So, where do we even find this data? Is it buried somewhere in the Facebook settings?
Nope. Facebook makes it easy. Just go to your page Insights, then the Reel section, and bam, it's all right there, all laid out for you, nice and clear.
Data Wonderland.
Kinda. It's like having a personal data analyst revealing the secrets of your reels.
Yeah, okay, I'm convinced. We know where to find it. But what do we actually do with all this information? How do we turn those numbers and graphs into something we can actually use?
Good question. Let's break it down step by step.
I'm ready to dive in.
First, let's talk about reach. Reach tells you how many people have seen your reel, basically how visible you are, and it can show you if your hashtags and audience targeting are working.
So if my reach is going up, that's a good thing.
It is. It means more people are seeing your content, which gives you more opportunities for engagement, followers, and ultimately, more chances to earn.
Reach. Got it. What else would we be looking at?
Plays. Plays tell you how many times people actually hit that play button, so it's a good measure of how engaging your content is. A high number of plays means you're doing something right, you're grabbing attention.
So if people are hitting play, it means our content is interesting enough to make them want to watch.
Exactly. And if you're not getting many plays, maybe it's time to look at your thumbnails or your captions. Make sure they're catchy, interesting, something that makes people want to see more.
Plays. Check. What's next?
Watch time. Watch time tells you, on average, how long people are sticking around. High watch time means you're keeping them engaged. That's what you want. Low watch time. Maybe your reels are too long, or maybe they're just not interesting enough.
Watch time is like the ultimate test of whether your content is actually captivating, right?
You got it. Now let's talk about engagement. This is all about those likes, comments, shares, saves, all those actions that people take on your reels. High engagement means people are reacting, they're connecting with what you're putting out there. That's gold.
Engagement is the sign of a healthy community, a community that's actually interested in what you have to say.
Exactly. It means people aren't just scrolling by, they're actually stopping and interacting with your content.
These metrics are starting to make a lot more sense now. What other data points should we be paying attention to?
Audience demographics. This tells you who your audience is. Their age, their gender, where they live, what they're interested in. It helps you create content that speaks directly to them, that resonates with them.
It's all about tailoring our content to the people who are actually watching, right?
Exactly. Then we have device data, which tells you what kind of devices people are using. Phones, tablets, computers, that kind of thing. This can help you make sure your videos look good on any device.
So whether they're watching on a big screen or a tiny screen, our reels will always look their best.
Exactly. And finally, traffic sources. This tells you where people are coming from. Facebook itself, Instagram, other websites, that sort of thing. It helps you understand which platforms are driving the most traffic to your reels so you know where to focus your efforts.
It's like mapping out the journey that people take to find us.
Exactly. The more you understand those paths, the better you can get at attracting even more viewers.
Wow, analytics really are a treasure trove of information.
They are. And remember, this is just the beginning. The more you dig into your analytics, the more you'll learn.
It's like a never-ending quest for knowledge.
In a way. But remember, data is only useful if you actually do something with it. Use your analytics to make decisions, try new things, and keep adjusting your strategy until you find what really works.
It's all about learning, growing, and constantly improving.
You got it. So before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to bring it back to monetization. We've talked about the different ways to earn from Reels, but remember, it's a journey, not a race.
I like that it's about progress, not perfection.
Right. It takes time to start making money from your Reels. It takes effort, and it takes a willingness to try new things and adjust as you go. There's no instant success, but if you're consistent, you create great content, you engage with your audience, and you use your analytics wisely, you can build a real income from something you love.
It's like building a house brick by brick, You create a solid foundation and you keep building on it.
Absolutely. And remember, earning money is just one way to measure success. The real success is in the connections you make, the impact you have on others, and the joy you get from sharing your passion.
So well said. It's a good reminder that it's not just about the money.
It's about so much more than that. It's about expressing yourself, connecting with people, and leaving your mark on the world.
This deep dive has been amazing. So many insights, so many practical tips. I feel so much more prepared to tackle the world of Facebook Reels monetization.
That's fantastic. Remember, stay curious, stay creative, and keep learning.
And always be willing to experiment, to try new things, to see what works. Who knows what amazing discoveries are waiting for us on this journey?
The possibilities are endless.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Facebook Reels monetization.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Anytime.
To all our listeners, remember to embrace your creativity, be yourselves, and keep sharing your unique gifts with the world.
Happy creating.
Until next time.
Thanks for tuning into our channel Money Minded Online. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this episode with friends who are looking to make money online and join the community. Drop a comment below with your favorite tip or takeaway. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep hustling and making moves. See you in the next episode.